What's up, my dudes? Today we're gonna be talking about mesocycles. You have definitely heard me mention in every one of my videos at least once um, that it's the beginning of my mesocycle. So today we're gonna be talking about what that is. So basically, a mesocycle is a period in between each deload, including that deload. So a mesocycle should usually last about 2 months, but kind of depends on you. If your joints feel fine, if uh, if you're not tired, both mentally or physically, you could go longer than 2 months. Um, you can also go shorter, but that kind of means that you're probably doing something wrong. Is it your nutrition, or are you having too much volume in your workouts? But yeah, after a deload phase, you go into the first phase of your mesocycle. That is the beginning of your latest mesocycle, and for the first 2 weeks, you should do about 10 sets a week for each muscle. And usually, I prefer to keep it in about 3 reps in reserve. Because if you go all in, if you go until failure, you will be way too sore, and you're just not gonna be able to work out in a couple days the same muscle that you worked out. Now, this phase for me lasts about 2 weeks, but it you should move on the moment you stop feeling sore after your workouts. And delayed onset muscle soreness is a great tool that you can use to kind of determine when your body has adjusted the volume and the intensity of your workouts. The moment you stop feeling the delayed onset muscle soreness, we can move on to the next phase, which would be 14 sets per week per muscle, and about 2 reps in reserve every set. Now, the same thing is with this phase. Should last about 2 weeks until you stop feeling the soreness, or if you don't feel it much, maybe for a day, maybe for 2 days, probably not. And then when that is done, you go to the third phase. Now, the third phase is the longest phase. That should be your average, the average relative effort that you put into your general workouts, which should be about 16 sets, 16 maybe 17 sets per muscle a week, with 1 rep in reserve. And you should do that one for about 3 weeks, even when you stop feeling the soreness, because for the last phase is only going to be 7 to 10 days. I like to do it for 2 split cycles, and for me that's 10 days exactly. For you, if you do push-pull legs, it's going to be 7. I'm doing like a modified Arnold split, made it myself. So for the last phase, that's where you go all out. That is the last phase before your deload, in which you should do about 20 sets per muscle a week and 0 reps in reserve, but you don't have to go to failure in every set. Maybe definitely on the last set of every exercise, maybe even last 2 sets. And after a phase, you are basically good to go and do your deload. A deload phase is basically about 2 weeks where you kind of recover mentally, physically. You kind of repair your joints, because if you were to just work out and work out for months and months and years, uh, your joints would definitely, to say at least, they would not feel good. Most likely they would just not allow you to go anywhere close to the preferred intensity or the volume. And in most cases, you will just get injured and won't be able to train for at least a couple days. It usually happens with shoulders, but for me, it can be elbows, it can be knees, it can be whatever you want. On your deload, you should still work out, but those workouts should just be light workouts. They should look just about as your regular warm-ups, just more volume. So you'll do with a lot less weight and a lot less relative effort. And the goal of those workouts are just so you can maintain as much muscle during those 2 weeks. Now, some people cut calories on their deload because they are not training as hard, which means they are not burning as much calories as they do off deload. And that's okay. That's new to decide if you want to do. And if you don't do it, you might gain half a pound of body fat, nothing crazy, which should be gone in the first 2 to 3 weeks of the start of your next mesocycle. So it doesn't really matter. You can do it if you want. It's on you to choose. But definitely, you should keep your protein intake high. And one thing I would recommend is maybe buying some BCAAs or amino acids. Just they help out a lot in maintaining muscle for competition preps, for general if you get injured, where you are, or if you're just cutting, if you're in a deficit, or if you're not training as much. They help out quite a bit. Every mesocycle, I would advise you to change most of your exercises. You can keep some the same. For example, I have a couple like incline dumbbell bench that I never ever change, or lat pull downs. I usually don't change lat pull downs, but most exercises you have tons of variations, and you should always try them all, see what fits you the best. The reason you shouldn't change exercises during your mesocycle is because of keeping track of your progressive overload. For example, basic tricep push downs, let's say you can do them with 60-70 pounds. You're not going to be able to do for, like, let's say 10 reps. But for overhead cable press, you're probably not going to be able to do more than 40 to 50 pounds. So it's kind of hard to keep track of your progress. So that's why you should do it at the beginning of your mesocycle. And why you should change them is what I said earlier, to find what's best for you, and also because if you just did the same exercises for months and years, you get incredibly bored, and you would not be as motivated to go to the gym. You would not be as motivated to push yourself as hard as you would, and you would just not enjoy it as much. Now, what is the point of mesocycles? So a mesocycle is, like I said in the beginning, the period in between every deload. So these phases do not are not necessarily a part of it, but I would definitely advise you to use these this way that I gave you, because the first two phases are to just get you ready so you're not incredibly sore as you would be if you started with 16 or even more sets off the bat. And the third would be your average, the average volume and intensity. And the fourth would just be kind of like to go all out and kind of milk your muscles for every single gram of mass that you can get. If you have any questions, if I missed anything, feel free to ask me in the comments. I will be looking at them. And that would be it for this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.